Ladies and gentlemen, before the world wakes up, before the noise of life takes over, there is a sacred time, a window of opportunity that belongs only to you. In these first moments of the morning, you hold the power to shape your day, your destiny, and your future. Today, I'm going to share with you something so simple, yet so profound, that it has changed the lives of countless successful people throughout history. And one of the greatest minds to ever explore the laws of success, Napoleon Hill, revealed it to us long ago. This is not a secret. It's not a trick. It's a habit, a ritual, a decision. If you want to change your life, it doesn't start next week. It doesn't start when you get more time or more money. It starts tomorrow morning, because how you begin your morning sets the tone for your entire life. What I'm about to share with you today has helped millionaires rise from nothing. It has pulled people out of depression, out of failure, and into greatness. And if you commit to it, not for a day, not for a week, but as a way of life, you will never be the same again. Let's begin. Every morning presents a unique opportunity to start over, to reset, to realign yourself with your goals and values. The way you begin your day is more than just a routine. It is the blueprint that sets the course for how the rest of your life unfolds. When you wake up in the morning, your mind is at its most impressionable state. It's like fertile soil, ready to be planted with thoughts, intentions, and emotions that will shape everything that follows. What you choose to focus on in that critical first hour determines the energy you bring into your work, your relationships, your goals, and ultimately, your destiny. Napoleon Hill understood this power and repeatedly emphasized that success is not an accident. It's the result of conscious, deliberate thought habits and choices repeated every single day, starting with your morning. If the first thing you do when you wake up is reach for your phone, scroll through social media, or dive into stress-filled emails, you are essentially handing over your mental space to external chaos. But when you begin your day with purpose, with a mindset rooted in clarity and gratitude, you're telling your subconscious that you are in control, that you are the architect of your life. The mind does not naturally drift toward greatness. It must be directed. Your morning mindset must be intentionally built to serve you, to prepare you, to align you with the kind of person you want to become. Think of it like setting the coordinates in a GPS. If you fail to set a destination, you'll be lost, drifting, easily distracted by obstacles and temptation. But when your direction is clear, the path unfolds with purpose. This is why countless successful individuals, from world-class athletes to billionaire entrepreneurs, guard their mornings with intense discipline. They know that before the world makes demands on their attention, they must first take ownership of their focus. Your morning mindset is not just about positivity or motivation. It is about installing belief systems, routines, and habits that mold your identity. What you repeat, you become. And what you think in the morning becomes the mental script for the rest of your day. If you wake up thinking you're tired, overwhelmed, or behind, that becomes your reality. But if you wake up with gratitude, clarity, and intention, you take command of your inner state, and the outer results begin to mirror it. Napoleon Hill spoke often about the power of the mind. He said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But belief doesn't just show up by accident. It's built brick by brick each morning. It's built through affirmations that remind you of your worth, visualizations that immerse you in your goals, and silence that reconnects you with your higher self. Your mindset is your most valuable asset. If you don't train it, the world will. And the world is not always kind. That's why you must create space in the morning for your mind to remember who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going. The blueprint you set in the morning doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require an hour of rituals or a dozen steps. It simply needs to be intentional. Even 5 minutes of focused mental preparation can rewire your entire trajectory. Imagine starting every day by writing down your goals as if they've already been achieved. Imagine looking in the mirror and telling yourself that you are capable, focused, and unstoppable. Imagine taking 3 minutes to close your eyes and feel the emotions of the life you are creating. These small, consistent actions condition your subconscious mind to act in alignment with your dreams. When your mind starts to believe that you are already the kind of person who follows through, who conquers obstacles, who stays disciplined, your behavior starts to match that belief. And behavior repeated over time becomes identity. This is how transformation happens, not overnight, but every morning. If you win the morning, you win the day. And if you win enough days, you win the year. Eventually, you win the life you've always imagined. But it starts with choosing each morning to become the kind of person who takes control of their thoughts instead of reacting to the chaos around them. You don't need perfect circumstances to shift your mindset. You just need a decision. A decision to rise above the noise, to stop letting yesterday's failures dictate today's possibilities, to wake up and remind yourself that you are not a victim of chance, but a creator of destiny. Every successful person you admire once had mornings filled with doubt, struggle, and fear. But what separated them was the choice to feed their mind with courage, not confusion, with direction, not distraction. The blueprint they followed was one of self-mastery, and it began with how they greeted the morning. Many people underestimate the importance of this because the effects are not immediately visible, but that's the deceptive nature of the mind. It works like a thermostat. Set it high enough in the morning, and it will push your actions to meet the standard you've created. Set it low, and you'll settle for mediocrity. The key lies in the consistency. One strong morning won't change your life, but a strong morning repeated for weeks and months creates the emotional foundation, mental clarity, and unstoppable energy needed to change everything. This is why your morning cannot be left to chance. It is your sacred time to create your internal world before the external world gets a hold of you. If you allow the news, notifications, and negativity to flood your mind before you've centered yourself, you'll be reacting all day instead of leading. But if you claim your morning as your own and use it to program your thoughts with intention and strength, you become the kind of person who is not shaken by setbacks, who rises above doubt, who walks with conviction. The world will always throw challenges your way, but when your morning blueprint is strong, you're already armored with resilience. Napoleon Hill believed in the power of a definite chief aim, a clear, unwavering vision of what you want from life. That vision must be revisited every morning, because the mind forgets. It drifts. It looks for the path of least resistance. Your job is to remind it, train it, and sharpen it every single day. When your morning mindset is strong, your decisions throughout the day become sharper. You say no to distractions more easily. You stay focused on your goals with more intensity. You begin to act like the person you've always wanted to become. That's not because of a random burst of motivation. It's because your morning blueprint conditioned you to expect more from yourself. You created an internal standard so powerful that it began to guide your emotions, your reactions, and your actions. Even on difficult days, that inner standard pulls you forward. That's the difference between drifting through life and directing your life with purpose. And the beautiful truth is, this power is already inside you. It's not waiting to be found. It's waiting to be activated each morning by your thoughts, your words, and your focus. The blueprint has always been within your reach, waiting for the moment you decide to take control. Success does not happen by accident. It begins with a decision, a firm, unshakable decision to live life with purpose and intention. At the core of every successful life lies a definite purpose and a clear vision. Without it, even the most talented individuals drift aimlessly, reacting to circumstances instead of shaping them. Napoleon Hill taught that the starting point of all achievement is a definite chief aim, a clear mental picture of what you want to achieve, and a deep emotional connection to why you must achieve it. This vision must be so vivid, so emotionally charged, that it pulls you forward even when motivation is gone and obstacles are all around you. It must live in your heart and mind with such intensity that every thought, every decision, and every morning action aligns with it. Most people live life waiting for clarity. They think they need more time, more money, or better circumstances to start defining what they want. But clarity doesn't come from waiting. It comes from deciding. The moment you decide what you truly want, life begins to align. Your mind, your energy, your focus, they begin to move in harmony. That is the power of a definite purpose. It creates direction where there was once confusion. It fuels discipline where there was once procrastination. It gives you the strength to say no to distractions because you are saying yes to something greater. The greatest tragedy is not in failing, but in succeeding at things that don't matter. Without a clear vision, you might climb the ladder of success only to find it was leaning against the wrong wall. When you have a definite purpose, your mornings are no longer random. You wake up knowing what you're chasing. You're not reacting to the world, you're creating your world. Your mind, like a laser, cuts through the noise and focuses on what truly matters. Distractions become less tempting because you're emotionally invested in your vision. That investment creates momentum. It gives you the power to start your day with purpose, even when you feel tired, even when life is heavy. The vision pulls you. You don't need to push yourself as hard because your purpose gives you energy. You begin to move different. You think, speak, and act like the person who already owns the outcome. That mental shift transforms your reality from the inside out. Napoleon Hill emphasized that this vision cannot be vague. Saying, "I want to be successful," is not enough. You must define what success looks like to you in vivid detail. Where do you live? What kind of work do you do? Who do you serve? How do you feel every morning when you wake up? The mind responds to detail. The subconscious mind, the seat of all habits, beliefs, and emotional energy, needs clear instructions. If your vision is cloudy, your results will be scattered. But when your purpose is crystal clear and emotionally compelling, your mind begins to filter out what doesn't belong. It prioritizes what does. That's when life begins to accelerate in your favor. Opportunities show up. People notice your energy. You begin to attract the resources, ideas, and support you need. Not because of luck, but because of alignment. A clear vision also gives your struggles meaning. When challenges come, and they always do, it's your purpose that gives you the strength to endure. When your why is strong enough, no setback can stop you. The pain becomes part of the process. It doesn't break you, it builds you. That's why you must revisit your vision daily, especially in the morning. This is your sacred time to remind yourself of your purpose, to feel it, to breathe it in, to let it dominate your mental landscape before the world tries to impose its agenda on you. You must write it, speak it, visualize it, and believe in it before you see any evidence. Because the vision must exist in your mind long before it exists in your reality. Your purpose must also be tied to something bigger than yourself. When your vision serves others, when it contributes to a cause greater than your personal gain, it gains an unstoppable force. It awakens a deeper sense of commitment. It strengthens your resolve. You no longer chase success just for money or recognition. You pursue it because it allows you to impact others, uplift your family, and leave a legacy. This higher calling fuels consistency. It reminds you why you started when the journey gets tough. It silences your excuse, and in those quiet moments of doubt, it whispers, "Keep going." This matters, but none of this happens without clarity. Clarity is the root of power. It eliminates confusion, which is the enemy of progress. When you know what you want and why you want it, you no longer entertain distractions disguised as opportunities. You protect your time. You guard your energy. You build habits that reflect your purpose. Your mornings become intentional rituals of alignment rather than chaotic reactions to the world. That alignment begins to change you. You walk differently. You speak with conviction. Your body language exudes belief. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've chosen to live with purpose. Napoleon Hill taught that definiteness of purpose is the first principle of success. Without it, all effort is diluted, all plans are scattered, all energy is wasted. But with it, your entire life becomes focused. You start to live by design, not by default. Your goals are no longer guesses, they're blueprints. Your time is no longer wasted. It's invested, and each morning becomes a sacred appointment with the future you're building. This is where transformation begins, not in grand gestures, but in the quiet moments where you reconnect with your why, where you declare to yourself, "This is who I am, this is where I'm going, and this is why I must keep moving." Most people never stop to define what they truly want. They chase goals set by society, family, or fear, but those goals cannot sustain you. Only a purpose born from your truth can give you lasting fuel. That's why you must create space each morning to remember what you're building and why it matters. Write it out, speak it aloud, visualize it as if it's already done. The clearer your vision, the faster your reality catches up. And as you refine this purpose each day, it becomes part of your identity. You no longer hope for success, you expect it. You no longer wish for opportunities, you create them. You stop asking if it's possible and start asking, "What's my next step?" In this mindset, failure is not final. It's feedback. Delays are not denials. They're detours guiding you back to your purpose. Because when your vision is strong, you trust the process. You show up with consistency, knowing that every small action compounds. Every repetition strengthens the neural pathways of belief. Every morning becomes a rehearsal for greatness. And over time, the gap between where you are and where you want to be begins to shrink. Not because the journey is easy, but because your vision keeps pulling you forward. It becomes the fire that lights your mornings. The reason you rise with intention, even when it's hard. The blueprint that turns ordinary days into extraordinary progress. Every great achievement in life is built on a foundation of simple actions repeated consistently over time. Success is not the result of massive leaps taken once or twice a year. It is born from the quiet, disciplined repetition of small habits performed day after day. This is the power of momentum. Momentum is what carries you through resistance, through doubt, through fatigue. It is what transforms temporary motivation into lasting transformation. Napoleon Hill understood this principle deeply. He taught that persistent action fueled by belief and purpose is the key to bringing any vision into reality. But that persistence doesn't come from willpower alone. It comes from the power of repeated, positive actions that become part of your identity. When you start your day by taking control of your thoughts, by speaking your affirmations, by reviewing your goals, by taking even the smallest action toward your vision, you are building momentum. Every time you take action aligned with your purpose, even if it's just writing one sentence, making one phone call, or reading one paragraph, you are casting a vote for the person you are becoming. And the more votes you cast, the more your subconscious mind begins to accept this new version of you as the truth. That's when belief becomes automatic. That's when confidence starts to grow. You're no longer faking it, you're becoming it. The problem most people face is not that they don't have a dream. It's that they stop taking action when they don't see immediate results. They plant a seed and dig it up the next day, wondering why nothing is growing. But success doesn't show up on your timeline. It shows up in response to consistency. Every time you take action, even when it feels small or insignificant, you are sending a message to yourself and to the universe that you are serious, that you're not waiting for inspiration or permission. You're moving forward with discipline, and that discipline compounds. You must understand that your brain is always learning who you are. Every action you take is a signal. When you hit snooze, your brain learns that comfort matters more than progress. When you skip your morning routine, your brain learns that goals are optional. But when you get up and follow through, even if it's not perfect, your brain learns that you are someone who honors your commitments. That identity shift is the real reward of repeated positive action. Because once you believe that you are the kind of person who follows through, the effort becomes easier. You don't have to wrestle with resistance every time. You begin to trust yourself, and that self-trust is what unlocks unstoppable momentum. There is a reason why elite performers focus so much on routines. It's not because they're obsessed with discipline for its own sake. It's because routines eliminate decision fatigue. When you have a system, you don't waste mental energy deciding what to do next. You simply follow the path you've already created. And the repetition strengthens the connection between your habits and your identity. You don't have to convince yourself every morning to act, you just do it. This frees your mind to focus on excellence, not just execution. Momentum doesn't require massive action. It just requires consistent action. Think about a train. When it's at a standstill, even a small block on the track can keep it from moving. But once it's moving at full speed, it can crash through barriers with unstoppable force. Your habits are the engine that builds that kind of momentum. Every time you follow through, even in a small way, you are accelerating. And once that acceleration kicks in, you begin to experience a shift in energy. You start to feel more capable. You start to think bigger. You start to attract opportunities that match your new level of action. Not because anything external has changed, but because you have changed. Napoleon Hill often spoke of the law of increasing returns, that the universe rewards sustained effort in ways that are often disproportionate to the energy invested. You may not see results in the beginning, and that's normal. The most powerful transformations are happening beneath the surface. Your brain is rewiring. Your focus is sharpening. Your emotional resilience is strengthening. You are building a mental and emotional infrastructure that can support success when it finally arrives. And the only way to build that infrastructure is through repeated positive actions, actions that align with your purpose, even when no one is watching, even when there is no applause. Repetition also reduces fear. When you do something for the first time, it's uncomfortable. But when you do it again and again, it becomes familiar. Familiarity breeds confidence. If you speak your goals out loud every morning, they begin to feel real. If you take action toward them every day, the fear of failure begins to fade. Not because fear disappears entirely, but because courage becomes your default setting. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the habit of acting despite fear, and that habit is built through repetition. Every time you act in the face of fear, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your emotions. One of the most powerful aspects of repeated action is that it trains your emotions to follow your actions rather than the other way around. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act, but those who build momentum understand that action creates motivation. When you act first, the emotion follows. You don't need to feel inspired to begin. You just need to begin. And as you keep going, the inspiration shows up. This is one of the most empowering truths you can internalize, that you don't have to wait to feel ready. You just have to move, repeatedly, consistently, purposefully. Momentum also attracts support. When people see your consistency, they begin to trust you. Opportunities come to those who are already moving. Mentors, investors, collaborators, they are drawn to momentum. No one wants to help someone who is standing still. But when you're in motion, when you're showing up daily with energy and commitment, others take note. That's when doors begin to open. That's when help arrives, not by chance, but as a response to your momentum. Even in moments of struggle, your momentum carries you. You don't have to start from zero every time life knocks you down. If your habits are strong, if your mindset is trained, you bounce back faster because you've already built the systems that support recovery. You don't spiral into chaos because you've created a foundation of control. That foundation is built through repeated positive action, through daily alignment with your values, your purpose, and your long-term vision. When you think about greatness, whether it's in business, art, sports, or any field, it always comes down to consistency. The ability to show up day after day, especially when it's hard, especially when no one is watching, especially when it would be easier to quit. That's what separates the extraordinary from the average. Not talent, not luck, but the quiet, disciplined choice to keep going, to do it again and again until the results are no longer a matter of if, but when. Because success is inevitable for those who refuse to stop moving, for those who understand that repeated positive actions are not just the path to achievement, they are the transformation itself.